Hello and welcome to the Literary Lair. Let me preface this review by saying that I do not in any way agree with the political views of this author. I just really like the book. In fact, when I read it, I had no idea who the author was and had no knowledge of his political stance. So let's cut to the chase. Ender's Game. I really like it, and hell, it's a really good example of science fiction. Let's just do it. The cover, at least on the version I read, is basic and shows some space and a spaceship and the title, although I would be remiss if I didn't mention the one where he looks like Mega Man. So anyway, let's get to the story proper. In the not-too-distant future, somewhere in time and space, Earth began to explore the solar system and master interplanetary spaceflight. After the failure that was giving Jonathan Archer command of a starship, they end up discovering an alien race. No, not the Vulcans, the Formics, which were derogatorily called the Buggers, due to their insect-like appearance. The Formics were scouting the system and establishing a forward base in the asteroid Eros. They attacked the humans, and the two races entered into two drawn-out wars. Despite political conflict on Earth between three ruling parties, the Hegemon, Polemarch, and Strategos, which, as much as they sound like names for legendary Pokemon, aren't, a peace was established and an international fleet, IF, formed to combat the Formics. In preparation for their inevitable return, the IF created the Battle School, a program designed to find children of the best and brightest tactical minds and subject them to rigorous testing, so as to defeat the Formic threat once and for all. 6-year-old Ender Wiggin is the youngest child in the Wiggin family and part of an Earth program to produce brilliant officers. Despite this, he's teased as a third under Earth's two-child policy. Ha ha, your parents brought you into this world despite the fact that it was illegal. He has a close bond with his sister Valentine, but fears his brother Peter, a highly intelligent psychopath.
Not a psychopath, Anderson. I'm a high-functioning sociopath. Do your research.
Who delights in manipulating and tormenting him. And I bet he murders small animals in the backyard, too. After the IF removes Ender's monitoring device, which is illegal, he gets into a fight with a fellow student, Stilson. Though the smaller and weaker of the two, Ender manages to fatally wound Stilson. Our hero, everybody! Well, Ender's actually unaware of this, and he believes he just injured him. While explaining his actions to IF Colonel Hiram Graff, Ender states his belief that by showing superiority, he will have prevented further fights in the future. Because fighting is always the answer. Same thing happened in Sliders, except in this, Ender doesn't go back in time and save himself from fatally wounding Stilson. Graff, on hearing this, promptly offers Ender a place in the Battle School, situated in Earth's orbit. Ender initially believes that Graff is a friend and an ally, but Graff quickly isolates Ender from the other cadets by highlighting his intelligence. Between being ostracized by his fellow cadets and having troubling dreams about the Formics, Ender is soon ready to quit the school, but Graff encourages him to continue through communications sent from Valentine. Manipulating a kid into doing something he doesn't want to do. Are we sure Graff isn't a parent? The cadets participate in competitive small unit-based war simulations in zero-gravity arenas. Ender quickly devises new tactics that disrupt the current ways these games are played, often involving sacrificing himself. Graff promotes Ender to a new army composed of the newest and youngest cadets, but Ender is able to gain their trust and against more ruthless competition, continues to invite new strategies to lead his army at the top of the school. Ender is forced to fight Bonzo Madrid, a jealous commander of another army. Ender manages to gain the upper hand and injure him, but is unaware again that Bonzo has actually died. So, Ender's death count is 2. Wow, that's better than most kids at his age. As a result of his leadership and bravery, several of his current and former squad members form Ender's Geese that remains loyal to him. Back on Earth, Peter has used a global communication system to post political essays under the pseudonym Locke, hoping to establish himself as a respected orator, which he believes will shortly lead him to political power despite his youth. Because he's totally who you want in power. Come on, no one would put a dangerous sociopath in political power. Okay, that's the past, but what about the future? I'll shut up now. Valentine, while not trusting Peter, believes that his methods are sound for affecting world politics in a positive manner. She becomes complicit in Peter's actions by posting works alongside his as Demosthenes. Their essays, which they initially develop in tandem, are soon taken seriously by people at the highest positions in power in the government. Though Graf is told their true identities, he recommends that it be kept a secret, believing the knowledge might one day prove to be useful. Ender, who is now 10, is soon promoted to command school at a considerable distance from Earth, but still within the solar system, skipping several years of schooling. There, he is put directly under watch of a former war hero, Mazer Rackham. Alongside other rigorous training, Mazer tests Ender with a war simulator, pitting virtual IF fleets under Ender's control against Formic fleets controlled by Mazer. Ender adapts to the game, and as the simulations become harder, he's given sub-commanders, member of his Geese, and they are able to react quickly to Ender's on-the-spot tactical ploys. Ender is brought to the simulator, with several IF commanders watching, and told by Mazer that this is the final test. As the simulation starts, Ender finds his human fleet far outnumbered by the Formic forces above a planet. Despite being told that it was against the rules, Ender turns off his targeting computer and uses the Force to sacrifice most of his fighters in order to launch a molecular disruption device at the planet, destroying the planet and the entire Formic fleet. Though Ender had anticipated that the breaking of the rules would mean that he would be expelled, he discovers the IF commanders celebrating. Mazer returns and informs Ender that this wasn't a simulation, but the actual IF contingent and the Formic main fleet at the Formic homeworld. Ender has just destroyed the Formic homeworld and committed xenocide of the Formics, ending the war. Again. Our hero, everybody! Ender enters into a deep depression on learning of this, as well as the deaths of Stilson and Bonzo. When he recovers, he finds himself still in orbit with his closest friends from the school, and learns that at the end of the Formic War, Earth went to war with itself. He stays on Eros as his friends return home, and colonists, space now safe again, begin to venture out to other worlds, using Eros as a way station. Among the first colonists is his sister Valentine, who apologizes that Ender can never return to Earth, because he would be too powerful a tool to be used by various political leaders, including Peter, who has become the hegemon. Instead, Ender joins an Earth colony program to populate one of the former Formic colony worlds. There, as he scouts the planet, he finds an area shockingly similar to a simulated game from Battle School. Exploring the area leads him to discover the dormant egg of a Formic queen. The queen, through telepathy, explains that the Formics had initially assumed humans were non-sentient due to lack of a hive mind, but realized their mistake too late. They could not communicate with the humans as war broke out, but were able to touch Ender's mind, creating the dreams he felt and preparing his place for him. The Queen requests that Ender take the egg to a new planet and allow the Formic race to grow again. Ender takes the egg, and with information from the Queen, he writes the Hive Queen under the alias Speaker for the Dead. Peter recognizes Ender's hand in behind the work and requests Ender to write a book about Peter, which he entitles Hegemon. The combined works create a new religion that Earth and many of Earth's colonies start to adopt. In the end, Ender and Valentine board a starship and start visiting many worlds, looking for the right one for the unborn Hive Queen. And that was Ender's Game. Was it good? Hell yes. And when I read it, I was hooked by the third chapter. And although I don't agree with the author's political views, it's a good read and I highly recommend it. And I hear they're making a movie out of it as well. I hope it's good. You know, not all movie adaptations of books are bad. That gives me an idea. See you next week. welcome to the Literary Lair. And let me preface this review by saying I do not in any way agree with the political views of this author. No, I don't like that. And the fan is still on. And I love you, you're a fucking idiot. So we're doing this shit. Okay, take 2. 6-year-old Ender Wiggin. 6-year-old and on this side now. 6-year-old Andrew Ender. 6-year-old Andrew. 6-year-old Andrew. Back on Earth, Peter has a global communication system